Hi everyone, Emily here, and today I have for you day 8 of Bookmas. Sorry, I had to look down because I'm like, I have no idea what day I'm on, and like the day that I'm filming does not reflect the day that it is. So I'm filming day 8, and today is actually December 5th. And I'm going to just apologize right now for the lighting. It is 6:40 p.m. and I don't have a ring light and it's dark out, and so the light might cut in and out. So hopefully it'll be a little bit better when you see the books on my case. But so I'm going to do my Advent unboxing, and then excuse me, I'm so sorry, asthmatic person here in the cold weather. It's fun times. Um, so I'm going to show you another bookshelf. So the bookshelf that I'm going to show you after the unboxing is the bookshelf that has all of the books, well, most of the books that I've read this year, and I'll get into that in a minute. But without further ado, let's get started with the unboxing. Oh, and I should also make a note. The bookcase that I'm going to show you is like right against the wall. I have a shared wall. I live in a townhome, and my neighbors are loud. So hopefully you don't hear them, but you might. So I apologize right now. All right, let's get to the unboxing. So I don't know how I'm going to do this. Here is, haha, sorry, no editing here. This is day 8. I got to put it down on the ground. 100% Colombian. Nice. Mellow-bodied and smooth. Yum. I had the Highlander grog this morning, and it was okay. All right, so on this bookcase, there's my baby Yoda. I love him. There is a little holiday decoration. It's like a tea light holder with poinsettias. I absolutely love that. So years and years ago, my first job, well, like my first job in a like career, not I'm working to make money, but a career of like this was what I might do for my life. So I had lived in Philadelphia when I was 25, on a year-long missions trip, and then I came home and I got my first job working with people with disabilities. So I was working as a case manager for adults with developmental disabilities, and one of the individuals that I supported for Christmas one year gave me that beautiful decoration, and I love it. I loved the person that I served. His family was his sister was his guardian, was or sister was caregiver. Such a wonderful family. Loved him, and I will always put that out every year. Even if I don't have a candle or burn it, it will just go out because it's just so pretty. My radio, air purifier, a necessity. And then this bookshelf is the majority of the books that I read this year. So here's what I do. At the start of a year, I will take a look at the challenges and just like that I want to complete, and then I will pick out like the books that I think will fulfill those prompts, and then I shelve them all on this bookshelf. And then as the year goes, I will pull books from this bookshelf to read, and then obviously, like I'm so sorry. I will purchase books throughout the year too, or something else will come up and I'll read it. And so then as I read, I will fill up the top with like the books that I've read, and then the books that are on my TBR get further and further down on this bookshelf. So right now, this bookshelf is pretty much all full, and they're all books that I've read this year. Now, some of the books that I've read this year already, I don't have on these shelves because I've either put them in my Pango store, or I borrowed them, or I read them on the Kindle, or listened to them on Audible. But um, yeah, if it's on this shelf right now, I read it this year. All right, so let's get to, first of all, this is a bank from when I was a baby, a mug from, is this from Borders or Barnes and Noble? I don't know. Barnes and Noble. It says they're right there. So just different authors on there. Oh, it had coins in it and it just fell. I'm going to pick up coins later. This is, I don't know if you can see it, a Fourth Wing bookmark. The problem, I like it, but the ribbon is so stinking long. It is too long for books, even hardcover books. Cord from my radio. This has my initials, so Emily Ann Chisek. And this mug is from Williamsburg. And one of my mother's friends, when each of us kids were born, she bought a mug from Williamsburg and it had our initials engraved on it. And then this is just a little Santa pot. I taught a life skills class several years ago, and one of my students painted this and then put candy in it, so I just put that out. All right, so what I read so far this year. First off, the beginning of the year, I read Ruthless Vows, so book 2 in the duology with Divine Rivals being the beginning. Loved it. Loved that series. I read Everblaze book 3 and Keeper of the Lost Cities. I'm enjoying that series. Firekeeper's Daughter was a reread for a book discussion or book club that I'm in. We read, oh God, I can't remember it. Pardon my language. What was the name of that book? Goodness gracious. I know. Killers of the Flower Moon. And we wanted to read more books that centered around indigenous people, and so Firekeeper's Daughter is when we read. Amari and the Night Brothers, I listened to it. It was a reread for me, so that way I could read Amari and the Great Game. Bride by Ali Hazelwood. I loved that book, and I think part of why I loved it so much was because it just came at a difficult time, and I just needed something light. Arcanum Unbounded, I still have some things that I need to read in there, but I put that there. Why did I put that there? I think because I read the majority of stories and Edge Dancer I read. The Blade itself, excuse me, The Blade itself, I listened to it in preparation to try to read more in the First Law trilogy. That did not happen, but I'm going to tell you, Stephen Pacey as a narrator for The Blade itself was absolutely stinking phenomenal. Like, his voice for Galacta was so great. Like, Galacta is a torturer who has some, like, missing teeth because he has been tortured himself. And Stephen Pacey doing Galacta's voice and just the sucking on his teeth, amazing. Then Count of Monte Cristo, like, I so loved that book. Sorry, I'm also hearing weather. I think it's raining. Ugh. And then it's supposed to snow, and then it's going to all just be gross. Amari and the Great Game, I really enjoyed it. Role Playing, I have read that book so many times or listened to it, and I just love that romance. And it centers around two older, the woman is 48, the man is 50, and I love that. Fourth Wing, excuse me, was a reread or re-listen to, I believe. Keeper of the Lost Cities, never seen it, still enjoying that. And then I read A Court of Thorns and Roses for the first time. And I enjoyed the first book. It was slow, and I was like, oh dear goodness, what are people talking about with this series? And I debated giving up on it. So glad I did not. Red Rising, I really liked Red Rising. I liked it a lot. This is Iron Flame. This had to have been another reread because I read it when it first came out. A Fate Inked in Blood. I don't know if I'm going to continue on with this series. I don't know. I did enjoy it, but I did not like the fact that there was almost adultery in there. And I thought it was very predictable. Like the twist, I was like, yeah, I saw that coming. Between Shades of Grey by Ruta Sepetys, my first book by her, so good. I really appreciate learning about um, a portion of history that I just don't know a lot about. I mean, like I learned about that people, if they spoke out against communism in Russia, they were arrested and they were sent to Siberia. But like that was it. That's all I really knew, and I learned so much more about what happened, and oh, so good, so heartbreaking. All right, shelf number 2. Oh, I also have to point out, you're gonna see like, oh, I have a bag that needs to get put away. I discovered, oh, there's some chapstick that I didn't know about. I guess I need to throw that away. I'm very real here. I don't keep a perfectly clean house. I would like to, but I live in my house, okay? Um, pardon my coughing, asthmatic. Then I have here, this was a birthday gift, like when I was in elementary school from a good friend of mine, and I just can't seem to get rid of it because it's just so cute. And then this is Spare Car Key. And this is just like a little pinch pot that I made when I was in college. So I was an English education major, and one of the classes that you take, it's with people in all sorts of different disciplines in secondary education, and you have to go up and you have to teach a lesson within your discipline. So if you're an English major, you are teaching an English lesson. I don't know, we taught some grammar type lesson. The art students brought in clay and we all made pinch pots, and then they took them and they fired them. So that was my pinch pot that I made in that class. And then we have A Court of Mist and Fury, A Court of Rings and Ruin. I mean, you can see that I just blazed through the ACOTAR series because here it all is in all its glory. So I loved A Court of Mist and Fury and A Court of Wings and Ruin. Just for the Summer, I thought was phenomenal by Abby Jimenez. I thought it was a phenomenal depiction of disassociation from trauma. Court of Frost and Starlight, what people commonly call the Christmas novella. I mean, it was there. It did have some plot points, but it was kind of annoying to read. Heartless Hunter, I did really enjoy it, and I'm looking forward to book 2. People say it's young adult. I really honestly don't think it is, because there is an open door scene, and to me that's not young adult. That I would categorize Heartless Hunter as new adult. A Court of Silver Flames. I love Nesta. I mean, I liked Nesta even like when even before she fought back up against Cauldron. Ooh, that was a spoiler. So sorry. Hopefully I did not spoil anything for anyone. But I liked Nesta even in A Court of Thorns and Roses, when Feyre visits her. And I liked her then. But she's a hard person to love, and I just loved her even more in A Court of Silver Flames. And I do believe that the Acheron sisters are like the depictions of trauma, and like how each, like the fight, flight, and freeze response, trauma response. Okay, Golden Sun by Pierce Brown. Hot take. I did not really care for Golden Sun all that much, and I honestly am toying, do I want to continue on with this series? I know, there I said it. The Ministry of Time, I really loved it. 5-star read, so good. Turncoat by Jim Butcher, I am just, is right here, it's hiding. I am enjoying the Dresden Files. I need to prioritize it more. The 7-Year Slip, oh my gosh. Love, love, love this book. 5-star read. So phenomenal. Love how it deals with grief and unexpected grief, and just beautiful. Tress of the Emerald Sea. So it's turned around. Look how beautiful this is. I do have the secret project. There went a flashlight that I have in case the power goes out. So I have it turned around because this bookcase will get the light, and I don't want the spine to fade. But I enjoyed Tress of the Emerald Sea, and also just the Easter eggs for, like, there's something there that is an Oathbringer. There's something in there that is in other books, and I thought that was fun. And then I read Percy Jackson, the first book, and more Keeper of the Lost Cities, and another Percy Jackson. So these books here, like, this is when I was doing the Amazing Readathon, and I was like trying to find fast books to read. Everyone in my family has killed someone. I really liked the removal of the fourth wall and the snark that was in it. Pride and Premeditation. It's a YA kind of retelling of Pride and Prejudice, where Lizzie Bennett is trying to be a lawyer at her father's law firm. And I didn't know this, but there's a difference between solicitor and attorney in England. I did not know that, and I still I'm not sure like what the difference is, but they do kind of touch on that in that book. What do I have down there? The Undermining of Twyla and Frank. I did enjoy that book. Sorry, I cannot bend down, and I'm sitting in a chair, and I cannot get down on the ground. Like, I have my left knee is really bothering me, so there'll be no getting down on the ground. Oathbringer. Like, the ending was just, with Dalinar, just phenomenal. Loved it. But it was a tough read. There were some things about Dalinar that you learned that are just tough. Everywhere I go on vacation, every time I go on vacation, someone dies. I found that ARC copy at a free little library, and I really did enjoy it. It has a removal of the fourth wall, and there's a lot of snark in it. What the River Knows, I did enjoy it. I'm going to read the sequel and looking forward to that. Tomorrow. I did really enjoy it. I was afraid that I wouldn't because there's just so much hype around that book. And so I was like, I don't know. And I just thought it was a beautiful novel. And it really has a lot, like, pretty much all of the characters aren't all that likable, but for some reason, I really just enjoyed reading about their lives. The Made by Nita prose, I gasped out loud over a twist that I just did not see coming. And I'm looking forward to reading more in that series. This book is Disfigured. That is, it's a nonfiction book by a woman with a disability who, actually, I should rephrase that. She prefers the term disabled woman. I apologize. And her, in the intro or the beginning pages, she states like, that disability is part of my identity. And so that's why I prefer disabled person or disabled woman. And she kind of weaves her story and living with a disability, and also talks about how are disabilities portrayed in fables and fairy tales and fantasy, and what that says about society and how we view disabilities and abilities. So I thought it was a fascinating look. More Keeper of the Lost Cities. I'm kind of at the point right now with Keeper of the Lost Cities that there's a lot that's kind of blending in together for me. So it's sometimes kind of hard to talk about the books because I'm like, I don't know what happened in what book. The Tainted Cup, I did enjoy it. I will read the next book. I thought it was good. There was one part in it that I was like, I did not really think it was necessary. It didn't add anything to the story. So I don't know why it was there. Changes right here. Cord. Changes by Jim Butcher. I will say this. If you are a Dresden Files fan and you're working through it, but you haven't hit Changes, do not read the back of the book. It will spoil the first sentence of the book. And the first sentence of the book is a shocking first sentence. So do not read the back of the book until you read the first sentence. And wow, it was good. Like, the ending just is going to change everything for Harry. Just there's some things that happened where I was just like, what? So I need to get on and read Ghost Story. Then we have Sense and Second Degree Murder. It continues on with the YA series. It's of retellings of Jane Austen novels. And in this one, Marianne Dashwood's, their father they suspect has been poisoned. And Marianne Dashwood wants to carry on with her father's business as an investigator. I enjoyed it. I wanted more Colonel Brandon. Garlic and the Vampire, my first ever graphic novel, and I so loved it. So adorable. The illustrations are beautiful. Vampires of El Norte, really enjoyed. It's more love story than it is about vampires. Dracula, I enjoyed until like the last 100 pages that I thought dragged, and that last 2 paragraphs just killed the book for me. But overall, I did enjoy it. But it would have been like a 4.5 star, and it got bumped down to 3.5. Lasagna Means I Love You, beautiful, loved it. I'm not going to talk too much about these books because I feel like I've already just did in my wrap up. Iona Iverson's Rules for Commuting, 11/22/63, Downshard, Blackbird Oracle. And does that fit? Can I put that all the way back in? Nope, it does not quite fit. So those are all the books from this year. So at the end of the year, what I'll do is those all get taken off the shelf. I file them back into where I want them to be permanently, unless I read them throughout the year, and then I'll put them back on the shelf. And then, excuse me, this will get filled up with the books that I plan on reading for challenges. That is all. Have you read any of these books? And I'm going to say again, sorry if I spoiled anything in ACOTAR. And happy reading, everyone. Bye.